Are you also one of those people who feel absolutely nothing during a match? Right now, millions of people are losing their minds over strangers throwing a ball. Their hearts are racing. Their palms are sweating. Some are literally crying. And you? You feel absolutely nothing. And science says that might mean your brain is wired completely differently. What I'm about to show you will explain why you've never understood the hype, and why that might actually be your superpower. Here's what nobody wants to admit. Not caring about sports doesn't make you broken. It doesn't make you antisocial. And it definitely doesn't mean you're missing some crucial part of the human experience. But something is different about how your brain works, and it's fascinating. Let me explain. For thousands of years, humans survived in tribes. Your group was everything. It hunted for you, protected you, kept you alive. And when someone watches their favorite team, their brain doesn't know the difference. It releases oxytocin, the same bonding hormone you feel with family. Their brain literally believes these millionaire athletes are part of their survival group. Wild, right? But here's where you're different. People who don't obsess over sports have what psychologists call lower tribal instincts. Your identity isn't tied to belonging to a group. You don't need to be part of something bigger to feel complete. You're more individualistic, more self-contained. And there's research on this. A 2019 study found that people with low sports interest show significantly less us versus them thinking. You don't automatically hate people just because they're wearing different colors. Your brain doesn't work that way. Now, this is where it gets wild. You know that feeling when you're about to open a gift? That rush of anticipation? That's dopamine firing in your brain. Sports fans get that same hit during every single play, every possession, every moment of the game. It's literally addictive. Scientists using brain scans discovered that watching sports activates the exact same reward centers as gambling, the same pathways that make slot machines so dangerous. Because the key ingredient is uncertainty. You don't know if your team will win. That unpredictability keeps the dopamine pumping. People who don't care about sports? Their dopamine systems simply aren't triggered by watching other people compete. And get this, research from the University of Chicago suggests this might be genetic. The way your dopamine receptors are built could literally determine whether you care if the Lakers win or lose. Your indifference might be in your DNA. Here's something sports fans do that you probably don't. It's called basking in reflected glory. When their team wins, they say, "We won." When their team loses, they say, "They lost." Notice the switch? They absorb victories into their identity, but distance themselves from defeat. Their self-esteem rides on things completely outside their control. You don't do this. Your self-concept is more stable, more consistent. You don't need external victories to feel successful. And psychologically speaking, that's actually healthier. Now, before anyone gets defensive, hear me out. Sports fans actually score higher on certain empathy measures. They practice caring deeply about strangers, as long as those strangers are wearing their jersey. So why don't you feel that same connection? It's about empathy allocation. Everyone has limited emotional bandwidth. You're not less empathetic. You're just directing that empathy somewhere else. Relationships, art, social causes, creative projects, ideas. A 2021 study found that people with low sports interest scored significantly higher in openness to experience and appreciation for art and beauty. You're getting your emotional highs from different sources. Your brain is seeking the same things: meaning, connection, transcendence. You're just finding them somewhere else. Here's what really separates sports fans from non-sports people: how you experience meaning. Sports fans find meaning in narrative, the underdog story, the dynasty, the rivalry, the comeback. It's dramatic, unpredictable, emotionally charged. You look at that and think, why would I emotionally invest in something I can't control, performed by people I don't know in a game that doesn't affect my actual life? And you're not wrong, but neither are they. It's just two different approaches to the human need for story. One group finds their epic narrative in a championship run. You find yours in books, relationships, creative work, intellectual challenges. Researchers call this parasocial investment versus direct engagement. Sports fans build one-sided relationships with teams and players. You prefer investing emotional energy where there's actual reciprocity, where your care matters, where you're not just a spectator watching someone else live their life. Neither approach is better. They're just different strategies for being human. And here's what's quietly radical about your way. You're more present in your own life. You're not spending hours every week experiencing someone else's struggle. You're engaged in your own. You're the main character in your story, not a fan in someone else's. So the next time someone looks at you confused because you didn't watch the game, remember this. You're not missing out. You're not broken. You're not boring. Your brain's reward system works differently. Your tribal instincts are calibrated differently. Your empathy flows in different directions. And honestly, that might be exactly what the world needs more of. People who are present in their own lives. People who don't need external victories to feel whole. People who choose their own meaning instead of borrowing it from strangers on a screen. You're not playing the wrong game. You're just playing a different one, and it might have higher stakes than any championship ever could. If this resonated, you need to see why quiet people's brains process information completely differently, and why that's actually their biggest advantage. Click here.